Did you know that cats' whiskers work like radars that they use to measure distances? Don't forget to subscribe to Zarpado and let's start. In Afghanistan, Kangina is an ancient technique for preserving fresh grapes for up to 6 months. Containers made of clay and straw are buried underground to maintain a cool environment. It's a sustainable way to enjoy fruits out of season. In the arid Tarim Basin in China, a surprisingly well-preserved mummy was found. The beauty of Lulin. She lived millennia ago and was naturally preserved thanks to the dry, salty climate. Unlike Egyptian mummies, this one was mummified by accident. In Poznań, Poland, the Poznań Ice Festival turns the market square into a frozen stage. Artists from around the world carve sculptures from blocks of ice in front of the public. It's an unforgettable visual experience that attracts locals and tourists alike. Continuing with the modern, there's an experiment that has bus drivers pedaling bicycles while a bus passes nearby. This allows them to experience firsthand how dangerous it is to fail to maintain social distancing from cyclists. In the art world, Tanya Gomelskaya stands out, an artist who fuses painting and sculpture to create three-dimensional works. Her pieces protrude from the canvas, explore emotions such as anxiety, and play with surreal textures. In terms of motorcycle safety, there's a windshield wiper for helmets. This small, electric, rechargeable device removes water from the visor and improves visibility in adverse weather conditions. Technology has also reached body art with LED tattoos. These luminous designs use microcircuits and sensors to interact with the body, responding to movement or heart rate, and are emerging as aesthetic and medical tools. Pure adrenaline is experienced in the sphere of death, where motorcyclists perform stunts inside a spherical metal structure. Thanks to centrifugal force, they defy gravity while crossing each other's trajectories without colliding. Meet Benjamin Shine, an artist who works magic with tulle. His sculptures and portraits are born from the simple folding and ironing of fabric, exploring themes such as energy and spirituality. He has collaborated with Maison Margiela and exhibited in museums around the world. The CH-47 Chinook is a twin-rotor military helicopter with an astonishing payload capacity, up to 22,000 pounds, ideal for transporting troops and equipment in difficult terrain. More interesting facts: Janus the tortoise, who has 2 heads, was born with a condition called bicephaly. Although they share a shell, both heads can act independently. His name comes from the two-faced Roman god. A total inspiration is Adriana Macias, a Mexican speaker and writer who was born without arms. She uses her feet to perform everyday tasks and motivates others with her message of achievement, empowerment, and self-love. And if we're talking about risk, human cannonball Luis Munoz jumps from a cannon without gunpowder using compressed air. This act requires precision and extreme physical training. One of the most impressive attractions in the circus. Advancing in extreme technology, the Terminator robot combines canine form with surveillance functions. It's equipped with cameras, motion sensors, and even a flamethrower. Perfect for patrolling difficult areas, it moves with agility and transmits data in real time. And speaking of photos, Claudio Piccoli is an Italian photographer expert in capturing dogs in motion. Internationally recognized, he shares images full of energy and emotion. He also teaches his technique through workshops and online courses. In a cross between culture and pop art, the Pokémon X Koge exhibition unites the Pokémon universe with traditional Japanese techniques. Ceramics, weaving, and goldsmithing combine with Pikachu and company. The result is a fusion of the contemporary and the ancient that celebrates Japanese creativity. Returning to the animal kingdom, the teacup pig is a miniature version of traditional pigs. Weighing no more than 66 pounds, they win hearts with their cuteness. They are intelligent and trainable, but require special care to maintain their health and well-being. From West Africa, the Zangbitos dance blends the spiritual with the artistic. These traditional guardians spin in conical straw costumes, completely obscuring the person embodying them. Their dances, accompanied by ceremonial music, command respect and mystery. And we conclude with the Abode of the Gods, located in Cusco, Peru. This sculptural space pays tribute to the Incan worldview with monumental figures carved in stone. Created by artist Michael de Titan, it unites contemporary art with mystical landscapes of the Andes. Moving from design to entertainment, YouTuber Laser Gadgets created a laser gun that looks like something out of a science fiction movie. The most incredible thing is that it can burst balloons using a powerful blue beam. In the automotive world, Luis Rodriguez, a fan from New Jersey, created a full-scale Hot Wheels car to celebrate the brand's 50th anniversary. It took him over a year to build the body entirely by hand. From Russia, we head to Switzerland, where the Animal robot was designed by engineers from ETH Zurich and BIC. This quadruped can walk or roll depending on the terrain, overcoming obstacles as if it were nothing. Meanwhile, an artist called Restore restored a rusty clown bench, removing every trace of deterioration. The result was as shocking as it was terrifying because the clown is still scary. But if you prefer something visually beautiful, Tobias Gremler digitized kung fu movements to transform them into abstract figures using motion capture technology. A pure visual spectacle. Continuing with technology, Ian Davis created his own metallic-looking myoelectric prosthesis. Inspired by Terminator, he designed a hand capable of moving fingers and producing mechanical sounds when flexed. Meanwhile, Sylvia, a contestant on America's Got Talent, left everyone speechless by firing a crossbow at her own head. And the best part, she hit the apple. Jumping into the streets of Frankfurt, athlete Jason Paul performed a reverse parkour course. Then, the Red Bull team edited the shots to create an illusion that defies logic. Now, have you ever seen a crack filled with people? Spanish artist Pajak drew thousands of human figures to simulate a tear in the facade of the Marqués de Valdecilla Hospital in Santander. It was a symbol of struggle in the midst of the pandemic. Wasps also have their thing. Some species build nests that glow under ultraviolet light. Scientists are still investigating why these insects make such luminous homes. The creator of Human Controller designed a Rubik's Cube that can float and be solved solely thanks to magnetic fields. It seems like magic, but it's pure engineering. Japanese researchers at Keio University created a robotic tail for humans called Arche. They claim it improves balance, just like in animals. Actor Tom Cruise trained for a full year to perform a scene where he jumps a motorcycle off a cliff in Mission Impossible. And he did it 6 times. In a more bizarre proposal, Danny Hine created an animatronic tricycle with a chainsaw as its base. The robot ride looks like something out of a comedy horror movie. And what happens if you blow up a tire 65 feet under a frozen lake? The Beyond the Press channel tested it, and the result was a unique visual explosion. Matt Tomasello built a skateboard that transforms mid-trick. Its sections rotate and reshape, allowing it to perform maneuvers that seem straight out of science fiction. The Italian band Rockin' 1000 brings together 1,000 musicians playing simultaneously in massive concerts. Their collective energy thrills any rock fan. And we close with Brick Experiment Channel, who built a robot out of Lego pieces that can lift objects onto a fence, a sample of what can be achieved with creativity and toy pieces. Did you know that cloud cascades exist? This phenomenon occurs when cold winds push low clouds toward the edge of a mountain, causing them to fall like waterfalls of steam. In that same futuristic world, Hyundai developed a small, semi-human-shaped assistant robot capable of recognizing faces and understanding language. Ideal for those who avoid social contact. Speaking of useful automatons, The Axadraw is a robot that writes or draws imitating your own handwriting. It only requires precise instructions and is perfect for signing checks or diplomas. On another level of experience, the Drive Tanks Park in Texas lets you drive real tanks and fire weapons. For a fee, you can even crush a car with one. Continuing with the enormous, the world's largest rubber ducky measured 59 feet tall and weighed 24,000 pounds. It was created by a Dutch company and traveled to multiple cities as a floating attraction. Content creator Potato Jet demonstrated how special cranes are used to film car scenes in Hollywood. He recreated a scene himself, and it looked like something out of a movie. A baby giraffe was filmed just after birth, trying to stand up. In the wild, they must walk almost instantly, as predators are relentless. Would you like to change the color of your eyes? Today, it's possible through iris implants or laser. One places a layer over the iris, and the other inserts pigment into the cornea. Both methods require strict medical evaluations to avoid risks. The bee-eater is a bird as colorful as its name. With green, blue, and yellow feathers, it feeds on insects such as bees and wasps, which it catches in flight. Before eating them, it hits them against a surface to remove the poison. The coconut apple is a tropical curiosity. It appears inside the coconut when it begins to germinate. It is spongy, sweet, and creamy colored, formed from coconut water. Eaten fresh or in desserts, it is full of nutrients and antioxidants. Manual tunneling is an ingenious method for penetrating rock without support structures. Stone cylinders are extracted with precision. It is ideal in hard soils and is used in underground works such as subways and sewage systems. Himalayan black salt, or Kala Namak, is famous for its boiled egg aroma. Its dark color comes from minerals such as iron and sulfur. Widely used in Indian and vegan cuisine, it provides a unique flavor, as well as digestive and detoxifying benefits. In the tropical rainforests of Malaysia lives a creature as rare as it is fascinating, the fire snail. With its reddish body and shiny black shell, it looks like something out of a fairy tale. It can only survive in very specific humid climates, which makes it even more special. Continuing with rarities, red love apples are completely red, even on the inside. Geneticist Marcus Cobelt developed them in 2010, and today there are at least 7 different varieties. In Seattle, the Space Needle is one of the icons of the United States. It measures 605 feet, was built in 1962, and has a revolving restaurant at the top, accessible by an ultra-fast elevator. Back in Japan, Hiroshi Ishiguro designed hyper-realistic robots with artificial intelligence. His most striking creation, the Geminoid HI-1, is an exact replica of himself, right down to the expressions. As for unique locations, many scenes from Interstellar were filmed in Iceland. The Eldron lava fields and the Vatnajökull glacier are particularly noteworthy, their landscapes reminiscent of another planet. Nostalgia can become unsettling. Los Angeles artist Dan Luvisi reimagined characters like Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse as gangsters and sinister creatures. Pop art with nightmares. In terms of technological history, the Writer Automaton was built by Pierre-Jacques Droz between 1768 and 1774. This robot could type up to 40 characters and was programmable at the time. Continuing with visual oddities, what looks like a cracked tongue is actually a condition called fissured tongue. It's neither painful nor contagious, but its cracks can vary greatly in shape and depth. Elsewhere in the world, tuk-tuk races in Sri Lanka take these 3-wheeled vehicles over extreme terrain, jungles, rivers, mud, and mountains. Breakdowns are common, so the team must be ready to make instant repairs. Moving on to the monumental, Northeast Greenland National Park is so vast that it surpasses the size of countries like Venezuela. There is no permanent human population, but there are species adapted to the frigid Arctic Circle. And if it's about seeing the invisible, the Schlieren system, or lining, allows us to visualize heat or gases that we normally don't perceive. Using mirrors, cameras, and light, it reveals phenomena such as the hot air from a hairdryer in action. Chile was the scene of the most powerful earthquake on record, the Valdivia earthquake in 1960. It reached magnitude 9.5, lasted more than 10 minutes, and was followed by a tsunami that caused thousands of deaths. High in China, the Red Cloud and Golden Summit temples rise atop Fanjing Mountain. To reach it, you have to climb 29,500 steps and cross a bridge between peaks. The pygmy marmoset is the smallest monkey on the planet. It weighs just 4.2 ounces and measures about 6 inches, although its tail could be longer. It lives in the Amazon and feeds on plant sap. And yes, the Simpsons house exists. It was built in 1997 in Henderson, Nevada, as an exact replica of the series. Today, it's a private home with more subdued colors and a garden covered in stones. In the world of sports, Julia Vins earned the nickname Muscle Barbie. At just 24 years old, she managed to deadlift 606 pounds. She is also studying law while preparing for new competitions. Her imposing physique and discipline have made her a global sensation. Richard Oliver, a 45-year-old painter from Los Angeles, creates oil landscapes so realistic they look like photographs. His technique comes from the 19th century French Impressionists, mixing tones and colors with great skill. Jay, known as Hydro Man, performs choreographed underwater dances for 5 minutes in a 6.5-foot deep pool. His talent has helped propel his musical career, which is rapidly growing. The dugong, known as the real-world mermaid, is a giant, gentle mammal that lives in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. They are peaceful, preferring to be alone or in pairs, and their conservation is vital to the balance of marine ecosystems. Dylan Balog, nicknamed the Brave Dylan, jumped from a bridge over 150 feet high and lived to tell the tale. Before jumping, he threw rocks into the water to break the surface tension and thus avoid accidents. A Tesla Moondos Plaid, the world's fastest electric car, was almost completely submerged in water. Surprisingly, its electric motor runs without air, and the vehicle completed the journey almost like a submarine. Ursula Musch, a German woman living in the Dubai desert, cares for more than 40 camels. Without electricity or water, she has adopted a Bedouin lifestyle and feels closer to her animals than to modern comforts. The Madonna della Corona Church, built in 1530, is located on the slopes of Monte Baldo in Italy. It is a sanctuary suspended between heaven and earth, accessed by paths surrounded by nature that fascinate tourists and worshippers. Jan Håkon Eriksson is an artist who records himself popping balloons in different ways. His work combines creativity and fun, showcasing different objects and techniques for popping balloons. The 295-foot-long yacht Olivia has a futuristic design with an inverted bow. Built in Germany in 2020 by Ulstein, it includes a cinema, swimming pool, gym, spa, and helipad, valued at about $215 million. Kyle Marker, at 6,560 feet high, set fire to his parachute using a flare gun to get an extra adrenaline rush. Fortunately, he had a spare parachute that deployed without a hitch. The Solkan Railway Bridge in Slovenia is the world's longest stone arch at 728 feet. Built in 1906 with limestone blocks, it survived damage in World War I and has been fully restored. Hannah Grace, a former professional chef, now creates optical illusions with makeup. She uses shadows, tones, and angles to trick the eye and achieve stunning facial designs. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is the largest living organism on the planet, stretching for some 1,615 miles. It is home to more than 8,000 different species, forming an ecosystem of incredible biodiversity. The osprey can descend at over 37 miles per hour to hunt fish. It has nostrils that close while diving and semi-permeable feathers that repel water, perfect adaptations for its diet. A pond near the Dead Sea in Jordan mysteriously turned red. Scientists are investigating whether the cause is an algae bloom, iron oxide, or human intervention, but the jury is still out. Felix Semper creates paper sculptures that appear to be made of stone or metal. Stretching their ends reveals their true, flexible texture, creating a striking visual effect, almost like an accordion. A young man built a homemade device to breathe underwater for 10 minutes. Although dangerous, the device passed all safety tests and is made with products available on Amazon. Bugger Racing is a Mario Kart replica played inside a Tesla Moon Do 3 using the real steering wheel and pedals. Although not officially licensed, this game adapted to Tesla technology is highly entertaining. Chris Lodge, a construction worker, spent 3 years and thousands of dollars creating a tropical paradise in his backyard. It includes a waterfall, a koi pond, and a cabana, creating a peaceful, natural space. Justin Park, from Alabama, creates canvas paintings by pouring paint and rotating the canvas. This technique produces unique and striking patterns, blending colors in a natural and dynamic way. Sparky is a horse who lives inside a house like a regular pet. He wanders into every corner and has even learned to open the refrigerator, frequently stealing food. Neil Mendoza built the Electric Knife Orchestra, a musical instrument that uses 16 knives to play hits like the Bee Gees' Stayin' Alive. This work won an award at the 2017 HOUR Festival. Ron Oppenheimer went viral for his suspended dances, holding himself only from a pole. His strength and balance are impressive, and he pulls off tricks that seem to defy gravity. In Japan, there is a miniature microwave assembled by hand with all the realistic details. It actually works, although it is unknown what type of food it could heat due to its tiny size. Chef Steve Parker creates cakes that look like savory food using unusual flavors and colors. For example, he uses a sweet strawberry syrup to simulate gravy, completely deceiving the eye. In Korea, mass-produced cakes combine machines and human labor to produce large quantities daily. These sweet treats require a lot of fruit and cream to maintain their flavor and texture. A marvel of engineering is the Weifang axis-less Ferris wheel in China. At over 410 feet in diameter, it offers spectacular views and is considered the world's largest axis-less Ferris wheel, a top tourist attraction. A very special elephant is Big Boy, known as the $1 Million Elephant. He was a circus star and now lives in a sanctuary where he symbolizes conservation efforts and respect for his species. In realistic art, Ronald Restituyo stands out for his detailed portraits done with oil paint, watercolors, and colored pencils. His technical mastery, especially of female faces, positions him as a self-taught figure in contemporary art. The world's fastest Rubik's Cube was solved by Mitsubishi Electric's Toku Fastbot. This robot completed it in just 0.3 seconds using artificial intelligence and ultra-precision servo motors. And speaking of vertigo, the Ixtlan de Juarez glass viewing platform in the Oaxaca mountains allows you to walk on a void. With a durable glass floor, it offers spectacular views of mountains and forests. In the world of the strange, Ripley's Museum offers collections of oddities from around the world. Founded by Robert Ripley, it is famous for its artifacts, illusions, and unique experiences that defy logic. The stick mantis is an expert at camouflage. Its long, thin body mimics dry branches to avoid predators. Its legs resemble twigs, and its color varies from brown to green depending on the environment. Like other mantises, it is a predator that captures insects with its front claws. Deinosuchus, a prehistoric crocodile from the Cretaceous period, inhabited North America and was one of the largest predators of its time. It grew up to 40 feet and weighed almost 15,000 pounds. Its powerful jaws allowed it to hunt dinosaurs that approached the water. A sneeze is a rapid expulsion of air through the nose and mouth, eliminating irritating particles such as dust or pollen. It involves the respiratory muscles, tongue, and diaphragm to create a gust that clears the respiratory system. It is often triggered by allergies, changes in temperature, or bright light. The Yeti crab lives in deep waters of the Pacific Ocean, near hydrothermal vents. Its legs are covered with hair-like hairs that harbor symbiotic bacteria. These bacteria serve as food and allow it to survive in extreme environments. The velociraptor was a small and agile carnivorous dinosaur, unlike the one depicted in movies. It measured around 6.5 feet and was covered in feathers, evidence that connects dinosaurs to modern birds. Some houses are made from glass bottles that let in light. When placed between cement, they create sturdy and colorful walls. This eco-friendly technique not only recycles materials, but also offers thermal and acoustic insulation ideal for any climate. On the outskirts of St. Petersburg, the Kudrovo building resembles a vertical city. Nearly 18,000 people live there, with schools, shops, and parks integrated into a single structure. Its design reflects the search for urban solutions to population density. Draft horses like the Percheron and Shire look like living machines. Their short legs, thick necks, and broad chests are designed to pull tons of weight. They have been faithful companions in the fields and in war thanks to their strength and endurance. Drywall saws don't cut skin, even though they sound intimidating. Instead of rotating, they vibrate, and this vibration passes through hard materials without damaging human skin. Thanks to this invention, doctors can remove casts without causing injury. The domino effect shows how a single movement can change everything. One piece push drags the others in a perfect fall. This phenomenon is used as a metaphor in politics, economics, and science to explain the cascading consequences. Fighting fire with fire seems crazy, but it's real. Helicopters drop burning fuel on specific areas to create fire breaks. This technique eliminates flammable vegetation before the flames reach it, saving large swaths of forest. Crying in space becomes uncomfortable and even painful. Without gravity, tears pool in the eyes and don't fall. This accumulation causes burning and impairs vision, so astronauts avoid crying during spacewalks. Hyper-realistic silicone masks manage to fool the human eye. Their texture mimics pores, wrinkles, and facial expressions with astonishing accuracy. They're used in film, theater, and costumes, and can completely transform the wearer's identity. Poplar fluff floats like summer snow. These white fibers carry seeds and can completely cover the ground. Although they don't cause allergies on their own, they are highly flammable and dangerous during dry seasons. The first Xbox prototype looked like an alien spacecraft. It was a large metallic X with a green light in the center, designed to display power and technology. Although it was never released, it marked the beginning of Microsoft's gaming empire. The Hammer Honix 3 is a six-wheeled, three-axle beast with a reinforced chassis. Inspired by the original military model, it was modified to perform in more extreme terrain. Its presence commands respect on any road it faces. Did you know that the Mexico City subway is one of the largest and busiest on the continent? With its 12 lines, it covers much of the city and nearby municipalities, making life easier for millions of people. Its stations not only connect destinations, but also offer cultural experiences with exhibitions on wrestling and boxing. In Canada, there is an impressive sculpture, the Veiled Virgin, created by Giovanni Strazza. It is so delicate that the marble appears to be a real veil over the Virgin's face. Its realism conveys a sense of softness that impresses anyone who beholds it. In China, the Harbin Ice and Snow Festival transforms the city into a frozen spectacle. Giant sculptures made from blocks of the Songhua River shine with colorful lights. In addition to the sculptures, artistic competitions, winter sports, and cultural exhibitions are held. Sweet sapphire grapes, also known as sapphire grapes, stand out for their elongated shape and almost black skin. Their sweet flavor makes them irresistible. Although they originated in California, they are also grown in countries such as Italy, Spain, and Australia thanks to their ideal climates. Sodalite stones appear ordinary at first glance, but under ultraviolet light, they reveal a display of colors. Their brilliance, thanks to sodalite, can range from yellow to vibrant red. These stones are highly coveted by collectors for their unique beauty. The giant rhinoceros beetle can measure up to 6.7 inches. Native to Central and South America, it possesses surprising strength. It can lift 850 times its own weight. Males have a long horn to fight for food or a mate, although they are harmless to humans. Did you know that there are farms dedicated exclusively to breeding cockroaches? These facilities are highly controlled in temperature and humidity to optimize reproduction, and their offspring are used in the pharmaceutical, cosmetics, and food industries for their high protein content and medicinal properties. Moving from the laboratory to tradition, countries like Austria, Germany, and Hungary celebrate the Krampus parade, a half-goat, half-demon creature. The streets are filled with characters in terrifying costumes, grotesque masks, and torches, creating a chilling yet festive atmosphere. And if we travel even further back in time, we find Anubis, the Egyptian god of death. With a human body and the head of a jackal, he guided souls to judgment and protected mummification rituals, being a central figure in beliefs about the afterlife. In a very different setting, silent parties are silent parties where each attendee listens to music through wireless headphones. You can choose different music channels and dance without disturbing your neighbors, a blend of technology and urban fun. Gaitas are traditional Japanese sandals associated with the Tengu, mythical creatures from Japanese folklore. Unlike ordinary sandals, they have a single central prong, which requires great balance when walking. Made of wood and with fabric straps, they were originally used to enhance stability and strength, but today they are more of a cultural symbol than practical footwear. Square waves are a rare maritime phenomenon that occurs when two wave systems intersect, forming a grid pattern on the water's surface. This is caused by winds and currents that generate waves in different directions that do not immediately dissipate. Although visually striking, they pose a danger to boats and swimmers due to the instability they generate. The golden beetle shines as if plated with gold. Its transparent exoskeleton reflects light so intensely that it changes hue depending on its emotion or the angle of the light. This skill makes it an expert at camouflaging itself among leaves and branches. Andrew Scott turns flat drawings into three-dimensional art that seems to come to life. His hyper-realistic works travel the internet, leaving everyone speechless. Each stroke is astonishing due to the detail and the light that seems to burst from the paper. Taxidermy transforms dead animals into lifelike figures. It requires anatomical precision and sculptural skill for a skin filled with foam or wire to regain its original shape. Museums and collections use it to preserve species as if time had stopped. The Libian International Building in Guiyang, China, looks like something out of a science fiction movie. A 354-foot artificial waterfall cascades down its facade, fed by recycled water. It's only activated during special events, but its visual spectacle impresses everyone. On the other hand, Wagyu beef is distinguished by its perfect marbling. Originating in Japan and from breeds like the Kuroga, this meat melts in your mouth. It contains beneficial unsaturated fats, and the cattle are raised with extreme care to ensure premium quality. Speaking of unusual things, Eduardo Chi is a creation by KFC Spain that blends 90s nostalgia with modern marketing. It's a chicken thigh-shaped Tamagotchi that you manage from your phone. This idea connects with millennials and Gen Z through humor and memories. Flying to Japan, the Arcax is a giant robot developed by Tsubame Industries in Tokyo. It measures 14.8 feet tall, weighs 7,700 pounds, and transforms like a mecha. It can travel up to 6 miles per hour and is for sale for $3 million for those who dream of piloting their own robot. And speaking of surprising adaptations, hummingbird tongues coil inside their skulls. They are made up of flexible tubes that move up to 13 times per second. These structures allow for efficient nectar extraction thanks to bristles that absorb the sweet liquid. Li Zhihao is a young Chinese juggler who can solve Rubik's cubes while juggling. This combination unites rapid logic with physical dexterity, achieving impressive coordination and a unique performance that captivates with its complexity and artistry. In the world of machinery, the industrial paper guillotine is an impressive tool. With its steel blade and adjustable pressure, it cuts through stacks of paper with surgical precision, ideal for printing and publishing. In agriculture, a flamethrower tractor allows for chemical-free weed control. With propane burners, it applies direct heat to unwanted plants, making it ideal for organic crops and large areas of land. Interestingly, a medium-sized cloud can weigh more than 2,200 pounds. This is due to the amount of water it contains in tiny droplets, even though they float thanks to the rising currents of hot air. Speaking of heights, the Shanghai Tower in China is the second tallest building on the planet at 2,073 feet. Its spiral design and double facade allow it to reduce energy consumption and withstand strong winds. In the operating room, surgical lights are designed to avoid casting shadows. They use multiple light sources from different angles to eliminate any shadows created by the surgeon's hands, improving visibility and precision. In the sky, altocumulus clouds float between 6,500 and 20,000 feet. Fluffy or lentil-shaped, they are usually white or grayish and sometimes herald changes in the weather. On the ground, the Bagger 288 commands respect. This German excavator weighs about 29.8 million pounds and measures more than 656 feet long. It was created to devour earth in open-pit mines using a giant conveyor belt. In the textile industry, industrial embroiderers create complex designs with multiple threads and needles. They can embroider several colors at the same time, speeding up production without losing quality. Moving on to traditional flavors, punch is a festive drink made with fruits such as hawthorn, guava, and cinnamon. It can be served hot or cold, and sometimes a touch of alcohol such as rum or brandy is added. And in the world of sports, Tottenham Hotspur's stadium has a system that dispenses beer in seconds. This automated mechanism enhances the fan experience, ensuring quality and speed. Finally, Christmas balls are made by blowing hot glass into molds. They are then given a glossy finish on the inside and decorated on the outside with paint and glitter. Finally, the hook is added to decorate the tree. Marimo balls, a spherical green algae, are grown in freshwater lakes in Japan, Iceland, and Estonia. Their shape is maintained by the currents that roll them. Soft to the touch, they grow only a few millimeters per year, but can reach up to 12 inches. They are highly valued as decorative plants for their aesthetic appeal and low maintenance. In contrast, in the Pacific, the blue-footed booby uses the intense color of its feet as a courtship strategy. Males dance for females, showing off their blue color, which they obtain from the pigments in their diet. However, the Zojila mountain pass in India is one of the most dangerous in the world. At over 11,500 feet above sea level, it connects the regions of Ladakh and Kashmir amid cliffs, snow, and extreme winds. To determine if an egg is fresh, there is a method called ovoscopy. The egg is placed in front of a light source, and the internal structures are observed through the shell, which reveals its condition by its color. From a spiritual perspective, the Ambuluwawa Tower in Sri Lanka is a religious symbol offering a breathtaking panoramic view. Surrounded by protected forests, it is a cultural and natural pilgrimage site. Returning to everyday life, kangaroos in Australia aren't just found in the countryside. They can appear at football matches or even enter homes. Although they look cute, they aren't animals you'd want to cross paths with. The company Budsies turns children's drawings into plush toys. Simply send the illustration and a description, and for about $99, dreams become real toys. And speaking of innovation, 3D printed wheels already exist. The company HRE Wheels, together with GE Additive, manufactured a titanium model that couldn't be achieved using conventional methods. On the coast of the Bohai Sea in China lies the loneliest library in the world, Seashore Library. Designed by architect Dong Gong, it offers absolute peace overlooking a deserted beach. Nick Brown, another creative YouTuber, created a hyper-realistic sculpture of Godzilla using aluminum foil, clay, and paint. The result is as scary as the movies. Among so many curious animals, puffins can catch up to a dozen small fish in a single dive. Despite their small size, they are incredible swimmers and underwater hunters. Speaking of impressive structures, the guitar-shaped Hard Rock Hotel rises in Miami. It's 404 feet tall, has 34 floors, and was designed to honor the spirit of rock music. And for keyboard players, the Janko is a strange variant with differently arranged keys. It allows you to reach more notes with one hand and takes up less space than a traditional piano. Meanwhile, Bombay Beach, California, is a ghost town after a failure in the canalization of the Colorado River. Today, only a few inhabitants and ruins remain, attracting film producers. In the field of neurology, there is a condition called prosopagnosia that prevents facial recognition. Brad Pitt suffers from it, and those affected must rely on voices, clothing, or body shapes. Meanwhile, in Russia, until 2011, beer was considered a simple food. Only after an alarming increase in consumption was it reclassified as an alcoholic beverage because it contains less than 10% alcohol. In the animal kingdom, Dalmatians are born completely white. Their characteristic black spots appear weeks later when the gene that activates pigmentation begins to express itself. Literally, they are born without spots. And speaking of surprising miniatures, mouse watermelons are fruits the size of a grape, although their flavor is more like a sour cucumber. They are native to southern North America and are also known as cuckoo melons. Far away, in Ukraine, lies the pink lake of Lemuria. Its color is due to aquatic plants that thrive in its salty waters. It is known as the Ukrainian Dead Sea because it is impossible to sink into it. In the political and artistic sphere, Czech Vladimir Franz, his body covered in tattoos, ran for president in 2012. He did not win, but he proved that appearance is no obstacle in a tolerant society. Before becoming Mr. Barriga, actor Edgar Vivar was a gynecologist. After years of practicing medicine, he found his true calling in acting, winning the hearts of entire generations. Flying in perfect synchrony, starlings create aerial choreographies that continue to baffle scientists. Although it's thought they might help them conserve heat, there's still no definitive explanation. In southern Spain, the Banana Museum is a curious, free destination. It tells the story of banana cultivation, displays ancient tools, and even explains its nutritional value. Jumping into the animal world, the ghost mantis blends perfectly into dry leaves. Simply by staying still, it goes unnoticed by predators. It lives in Africa and Madagascar, and off the coast of Peru, Jicama surprises surfers with a wave that stretches over 1.25 miles. Although it doesn't exceed 8 feet in height, Gliding over it can last up to 3 minutes. Changing continents, in Australia, the common opossum stands out for its size. It can reach 23 inches in length, not including its tail, which can reach 16 inches. It is nocturnal and eats everything from vegetables to eggs. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, many citizens live in coffin apartments just 22 square feet in size. Despite their size, renting one can cost up to $400 a month. In Florida, a tree named Fred grew in the middle of a bridge. It probably germinated from bird droppings. It survived Hurricane Irma and is decorated by neighbors every Christmas. There are also charming moths like the rosy maple moth. It lives in North America, and males use hairy antennae to detect the pheromones that females emit at night. On an islet in the South Atlantic, the Dringar Lighthouse is considered the most isolated in the world. Built in Iceland on a rock in 1939, it is only accessible by helicopter. Joakim Jorgensen and Tomur Bagari of the Mountain Comset channel managed to play basketball on top of a mountain. They also engage in creative activities such as weight training or playing poker on the hills, always with great care. It all begins more than 6,500 feet underwater. The giant tube worm survives near underwater fumaroles where temperatures are extreme. It can measure up to 8.9 feet, but is barely 1.5 inches in diameter. It thrives without sunlight, generating energy thanks to symbiotic bacteria. And speaking of extremes, this car was coated with Vanta Black, the darkest paint on the planet. It's made with carbon nanotubes that absorb 99% of visible light. To enhance its design, a layer of pearl particles was added. The result? It looks like a starry night on wheels. Now we travel to Mexican soccer, where goalkeeper Jaime El Tubo Gomez made history. In 1955, after taking a 3-goal lead, he decided to read a magazine in the goal. He did so in response to insults from the opposing fans, an unforgettable image from the Chivas versus Atlas derby. Lego pieces continue to appear on the beaches of Cornwall, England. It all began in 1997 when a freighter lost 62 containers. One of them contained 4.8 million Lego pieces. Many continue to appear, while the majority remains at the bottom of the sea, causing a serious ecological problem. Cat patterns are not random. They adapt to their habitat and behavior. For example, nocturnal cats that live in trees tend to have more complex markings. These markings help them camouflage themselves better in their natural environment. In 1989, Stefania Fellini isolated herself for 131 days in a New Mexico cave. She was participating in a NASA experiment to study the effects of isolation. Without a clock or calendar, she lived with mice, frogs, and grasshoppers. She never felt alone and adapted to the underground environment. And in a New York subway station, Joshua Bell, one of the world's best violinists, played unrecognized. He played a 1733 Stradivarius violin, valued at $3.5 million. Only 7 people stopped to listen, a powerful lesson in perception and artistic value. Parthenogenesis surprises the animal world. It involves a female giving birth without mating. Cases have been recorded in reptiles, fish, and birds. The offspring born by this method are almost genetic clones of their mother. In the African savanna, the African wild dog has one of the highest hunting rates. 9 out of 10 times they catch their prey. Their methods are ruthless. They pursue relentlessly while the prey is still alive. This way, they guarantee food for their pack. Artistic cycling combines acrobatics with bicycles. Athletes perform impressive tricks while maintaining balance. It can be practiced solo or in a group. Each routine lasts 5 minutes and is judged on precision, difficulty, and style. In Zaragoza, Spain, there is an avenue named Mario Brothers. It was inaugurated in 2010 after a popular vote. 80% of the neighborhood's residents supported the name. Today, it is one of the most original urban tributes to video games. In the world of physics, a 110-pound anvil can float on Mercury. This happens because Mercury is much denser than iron. Even heavy objects like iron float easily. A perfect demonstration of the difference in density. Further west, in California, Mono Lake hides geological wonders. There are some 5,000 stone columns called tufas. Some reach 30 feet in height. They were formed 760,000 years ago by chemical reactions between fresh and volcanic water. On social media, Mohammed Nantume has become a worldwide meme. This young Malian, known as the Big M, is 22 years old and has the face of a baby. In addition to being a comedian, he's a rapper. His fans include J Balvin himself. In Tulum, Mexico stands a 33-foot sculpture called Come to the Light. It's made of wood, rope, steel, and plants. It was created in 2018 by South African Daniel Popper. It represents a woman opening herself up to show her connection with nature. Lactose intolerance affects more than 68% of the world's population due to a lack of an enzyme called lactase. In regions where dairy cows weren't raised, such as Asia or parts of Africa, the body lost the ability to digest milk in adulthood. In ancient Rome, emperors hosted banquets so lavish they included exotic delicacies like flamingos and peacock tongues. Some guests even had special spaces to vomit so they could continue eating without limit. These events were a demonstration of power and opulence. Bees can recognize human faces. Studies show that these insects are capable of learning and remembering facial features, which helps them distinguish between individuals and protect their hive from threats. Point Nemo is the farthest point in the ocean from any land, located in the South Pacific. It is so remote that astronauts in orbit are closer to it than any person on Earth. The Amazon River is the world's largest river and contains approximately 20% of the planet's surface freshwater. Its basin is home to enormous biodiversity, with thousands of species yet to be discovered. The bee hummingbird is the smallest bird in the world, measuring just 2 inches. Its tiny size and speed make it look like an insect in flight, hence its name. And what's also real, and very sad, is the story of Natalia, a chimpanzee who carried her baby's lifeless body for months. The zoo didn't intervene, they let her grieve as she wished. From the emotional, we move on to the biological. A man produces up to 10,000 sperm per second. Now, if we jump back into space, there are astronauts' footprints on the moon that remain intact. No wind or water can erase them. Only micrometeorites could do something in a few million years. And meanwhile down here, the shower becomes a source of creativity. Hot water relaxes, dopamine rises, ideas appear. That's why the brain shines more wet than dry. Creativity also exists in Lego blocks. Artist Nathan Sawaya transforms them into sculptures like a human figure opening its chest as yellow bricks fall. Visual metaphor and catharsis in plastic. Speaking of things that aren't what they seem, the tomato isn't a vegetable, it's a fruit, as are the avocado, the cucumber, and even beans. Fruits disguised in every salad. Curious as the Converse sneakers that change color in the sun, in the shade, they're white. Under UV light, they turn blue, purple, or orange. Solar technology on your feet, but if you prefer nature over fashion, Tolantongo in Mexico will take your breath away. Thermal waterfalls hanging from cliffs, turquoise rivers, steaming caves, and landscapes that look like they're from another planet. And speaking of unique places, in Brazil there are towns where dying is prohibited due to the lack of cemeteries. In Norway, the cold prevents decomposition. Literally, death is an outlaw. And did you know you can't sneeze with your eyes open? It's a reflex that protects your eyeballs. Some people without that reflex manage to do it, but it's not recommended to try the trick. Much more recommendable is a visit to Sushi Singularity in Tokyo. There, they print personalized 3D sushi based on your DNA. To reserve, you must first submit a biological sample. Science, health, and food all at the same table. And if we continue exploring unusual places, dive under the sea to find Christ of the Abyss, an 8-foot-tall underwater sculpture that prays from the depths for the sailors of the world. But if you want something even more extreme, visit Coober Pedy in Australia, an entire underground city to escape the brutal heat. Houses, bars, even churches, all in cool caves. In contrast to the subterranean cold, scorpions can endure heat, cold, and hunger for months. They survive anything, and some live up to 25 years. Tiny tanks of the animal kingdom. Now for mind-blowing art. Eric Franklin crafts neon-lit glass skeletons. Each bone is blown, molded, and assembled by hand. Science and art fused into a single structure. What happens if you wring out a wet rag in zero gravity? Water doesn't fall. It floats and sticks like a living bubble, defying everything we believe about weight. And just as water floats, the Lazarus LM 496 flying motorcycle rises from the ground like a drone. It has Lamborghini wheels and takes off at the touch of a button. We move from flying to jumping, like Ken Storn, a Viking-like Norwegian who throws himself off icy cliffs. He looks like he's straight out of a Nordic video game. And while some descend from the skies, others break height records. Elisane Silva, a 6'9" Brazilian model, triumphs on the runways after overcoming years of ridicule. However, not all records are human. In Louisiana, a 3-foot-long earthworm lives and helps fertilize muddy soils. Incredible and useful. Elsewhere in the world, in China, they moved a 30-ton building with hydraulic jacks. 40 days, pushing inch by inch, without cracks or collapses. From concrete to crystal, rock crystal is not only beautiful, it also stores energy and is highly coveted in jewelry. But even when you're asleep, your brain is still awake. It's busy repairing cells, eliminating toxins, and archiving memories. Silent but vital work. From the mind, we move on to technology. The Apple Vision Pro blends augmented and virtual reality, tracks your gaze, and responds to gestures. And in the real world, if you have debts, you better not get caught with the Barnack on your windshield, a device that immobilizes your car until you pay. In China, soldiers wear tiny needles in the collars of their uniforms to maintain straight posture, a technique as strange as it is effective. Meanwhile, shadow balls float in water reservoirs in California. They help prevent evaporation and stop algae growth. But if roars are your thing, listen to the cassowary. This New Guinea bird looks like a dinosaur and emits sounds so deep they're felt more than heard. In the middle of the Chinese desert, the Desert Star, a star-shaped luxury hotel, stands out. Technology, comfort, and sand everywhere. Josh Digraff, a digital artist, creates animals with petals and leaves. They seem to come from a planet where biology and art are one and the same. Speaking of iconic figures, Jim Caviezel played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ at the age of 33. His initials are JC. He doesn't think it's a coincidence. Video games are also surprising. They improve memory, reflexes, and social skills. Playing isn't just entertainment, it can also be mental training. What does require reflexes is dodging a moose in Alaska. These giants measure 10 feet tall and stroll the streets as if they were locals. For brave palates, Tulum cheese is prepared in Turkey inside goatskin. Strong, spicy, and very traditional. And to join metals without heat, there's friction welding. Pressure, speed, and that's it. But when it comes to natural elegance, the New Caledonian giant gecko takes the cake. Nocturnal, arboreal, and with a hypnotic gaze. In Japan, rain chains turn stormwater into a visual spectacle. Metal chimes guide the water like liquid music. And high in the Chinese mountains, the hanging city of Huangshan seems to float. Temples, walkways, and breathtaking views. In Salem, Massachusetts, the world's largest Ouija board is called the Y-Scylla. It measures over 3,165 square feet and weighs more than 9,000 pounds. Mystery and record. Another record. The belly of a mother of triplets expands so much that it crushes internal organs. The human body is more elastic than we think. In 2019, Japan experienced a violet sky due to Typhoon Hagibis. It wasn't editing, it was physics, humidity, and refraction in action. A phenomenon as beautiful as it is terrifying. In eastern China, the Chinese alligator roars like a lion. Small but powerful, it uses water as an amplifier. A roar you wouldn't expect. And for spinning, nothing beats the human gyroscope. Sitting between metal rings, you spin and spin as if you were in space. Physics applied to fun. Behind the scenes, there's also magic. Many scenes are created with models. Mountains, explosions, entire cities, all in miniature to trick the eye. At Six Flags Mexico, the Sky Screamer launches you into the skies. 223 feet high, spinning chairs, and screams guaranteed. China surprises again with the Sanja Beauty Crown Hotel. 9 tree-shaped towers, more than 6,000 rooms, and nature everywhere. And if you tell us in the comments which of these interesting facts amazed you the most. Don't leave without subscribing, liking, and sharing for more interesting facts.